KRRZ 1390 AM, Minot's Classic Hits.
KZPR 105.3 FM, Minot's Rock Station.
Jacobson Music, bringing music to the Northern Plains since 1980.
Qdoba, easy, on time, full of flavor.
Nice Impressions, no job is too big or too small, located in downtown Minot.
MSU Beavers Hockey, online info at msubeavers.com.
Forward Communication, connecting professionals in the Midwest.
MSU Theater Department, year-round entertainment.
Red and Green, MSU's student-run newspaper.
MSU Bookstore, for all your campus needs.
Minot Nutrition Addiction, offering healthy smoothies and meal replacements on the go.
Spicy Pie, pizza, grinders, beer.
Magic City Hoagies, locally owned sandwich shop located in Southwest Minot.
Taco John's, offering fresh tacos, burritos, nachos, and breakfast.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of Inside the Dam, brought to you by Papa John's. I'm your host, Philip Green, alongside with my co-host, Troy Cowell.
Hi, Philip. Thanks for having me here. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Papa John's. Papa John's, if you go and order a large pizza, mention Inside the Dam, you can get a second large pizza for free. We'd also like to thank Bearscat Donuts Bake Shop. And Philip, let's take a look at the show we got coming.
I think we got a really good show today. We have head football coach Mike Aldrich, as well as some wrestlers on the show today. We have Marty Murray from the Minotauros hockey team, and Blake Fryer is the voice of the Beavers.
Yes, it's going to be a very fun show. Very, very excited to see how all these sports here, how they're looking. Like early in the season, mid-season, start of the season, just kind of get a feel for how everything's going.
Yeah, it's going to be a great insight into what's going on with our athletic programs here around Minot. So our next episode, make sure to tune in 2 weeks on November 18th. That is 2 weeks from today for our next episode of Inside the Dam.
Yes, and we're going to start with Minot State Sports. We're going to start going with Tayden here. Tayden, first story is going to be Beaver football. And, the team obviously not able to bounce back this week, but what do you got for us? Looking forward for the team. They got one more game.
Yep, they got one more game. I believe it's in St. Cloud.
Yeah,
St. Cloud State. Yep, St. Cloud State.
And then they're home. They're home for senior weekend.
Yep, Beaver. The other Beavers coming to town.
Yeah, a little Beaver Bowl, huh?
Little Beaver Bowl.
Yeah.
Little Beaver Bash.
Be sure to ask Coach A about that, obviously.
Oh yeah, I will ask Coach A about Beaver Bash when he's on with me.
Yeah, so Tayden, would you like to start?
Yeah. Minot State football team was not able to rebound from a slow start to their game on Saturday as they fell against University of Minnesota Moorhead. There was positives for the Beavers to take in with them to their next game, as MSU Moorhead was able to score 3 touchdowns before the Beavers got one of their own. The Beavers' drive was set up by a big kick return from Levante Bushnell, who returned the kickoff to the Dragons' 33-yard line. And then on the first play of the drive, Ali Muhammad was able to rip off a 33-yard touchdown run on the very first play. Unfortunately for the Beavers, the remainder of the first half would see the Dragons score 2 more touchdowns to take a 35-7 lead into halftime. Second half would go much better for the Beavers, starting with their second drive of the half. The drive ended with a record for Minot State as Levante Bushnell and Ben Belinsky connected on a 13-yard touchdown pass. The 18th touchdown reception for Levante Bushnell would result in him breaking the record for the most touchdown receptions in the Division II era for the school. The Beavers would fall by a final score of 49-20, and the Beavers soccer team suffered 2 losses this weekend, to St. Cloud State at home and to U of M Duluth on the road. On a snowy afternoon at the Herb, the Beaver offense struggled in a loss as they only were able to record 3 shots towards the net, with 1 being on goal. Junior Sophia Lewis and Melanie Van Wallstein were the only Beavers to fire shots towards the net, with Van Wallstein's being the only one on target. The Beavers were also beaten 1-0 at U of M Duluth. The Bulldogs and Beavers battled through a scoreless first half, and the only score of the match wasn't made until midway through the second period. UMD's Sarah Stange was the only player to score for either squad, and when she placed her first goal of the season past the keeper, Aaron Rafferty, in the 63rd minute. Despite the low-scoring nature of the game, the Bulldogs offense handled Minot State in the shots department, completing with 21 attempts compared to the Beavers' 9. And the Minot State wrestling team began their 2019 campaign at the University of Jamestown in the Jimmy Open. Beavers had a very impressive day on the mat with phenomenal team performance as well as several standout individual showcases. As a squad, the Minot State Beavers produced 9 place winners across multiple weight classes, and the Beavers tallied 15 total team pins, 3 technical falls, as well as 41 team wins overall. Beavers wrestlers will be back in action next weekend when they travel to Fargo for the North Dakota State Bison Open on Saturday. The Minot State volleyball team won in 4 sets versus MSU Moorhead in the Dome by set scores of 25-21, 19-25, 25-17, and 25-18. Minot State will play 3 more matches this week, starting on Tuesday when they will travel to Aberdeen, South Dakota to face Northern State starting at 6 p.m., as well as the Beavers will then follow up with their final 2 home matches of the season. They will play against Wayne State on November 8th and against Augustana on November 9th. Those games at 6 and 2 p.m. respectively. So,
thank you, Tate, for that update on MSU athletics. In his 3rd season at the helm of the Beavers, looking to make program history, I am joined with head coach Mike Aldrich. Tell me, Coach, the program is 1 win away from breaking the record for most wins since joining Division II. As head coach, what does that mean to you, and what has the team done to reach that opportunity?
Well, it's anytime you try to rebuild the culture of a program, any sports program, you have to temper your expectations, and you can't expect overnight success. And those, I think, that try to find the quick fix often find themselves in a bigger problem than what they wanted. So for us, we've been slowly building up what we're trying to do. We got to win all the little things first. But obviously, if we're able to secure a 4th win here by the end of the season, we have 2 more opportunities for it. It's going to be a major landmark for our program going forward. Sets a new standard and prepares us for the future to do even better.
Yeah, and as Tayton had mentioned, speaking of records, Levante Bushnell broke the record for most receiving touchdowns in a career at Division II. Since you've been here for 3 years with him, what has it been like to coach him and see him grow into the player he is today?
Well, I mean, I think Levante has been a special player for us ever since I've been here, even the year before I got here. And he's one of those guys that coaches talk to me about before the game, you know, as far as somebody that's pretty special and what they watch on film. If we can get the ball to him, he's able to do some really good things. One, he's got good hands, but he can make some people miss. He can run really good electrifying routes. So there's a lot of really good things that gives us that threat down the field. You know, last year we didn't have as much of a running threat to try to counterbalance him, but this year we've been able to sustain the run a little bit better, which then is opening up some more opportunities for him down the field on some play action pass type opportunities. So it's been good, and I think you know, you ask Ben Belinsky, our quarterback, he's going to tell you that he's kind of his security blanket when he's in trouble. He knows he's got Levante. If he can get him the ball, he's probably going to do some special things with it.
Yeah, he really has shown how impactful he is on the field. So you have coached in the NSIC for most of your career as a coach, with some years at Augie and Southwest Minnesota State. What made you decide to apply for the Minot State opening 3 years ago?
Yeah, it's a long story, but I was a finalist for it prior to that, 3 years prior, and Minot State chose somebody else, and 3 years later, the job opened, and I've been a head coach before, so it wasn't, for me, it wasn't just looking for the first opportunity to come around and just to be a head coach. It was I wanted to find the fit that was going to be right, not just for me, but for my family. And then also, if you're going to have a good fit, it's got to be what you're looking for, which would be, are all the pieces there surrounding you to be able to have success. And if all that's missing is people, then I think you got a pretty good opportunity, and that's what I felt was the missing ingredient.
That's awesome. So since you've joined the program, what has been the highlight for your time being here?
I think probably our first win was probably a pretty big highlight. I think this year there's been some really good things, some very close games, very heartbreaking games, but they were close anyways. And to be at 3 wins right now and trying to compete for a 4th would definitely be one of the bigger things that we're working for.
That's awesome. So unfortunately we are out of time. Thank you for joining us today. MSU Wrestling just kicked off their season this past weekend. For more on that, Dawson Forcello is standing by.
All right, thank you, Phil. Yes, the wrestlers just kicked off their season at the Jimmy Open hosted by the University of Jamestown. I'm joined today by Stosh Sitkowski. Stosh, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks, Dawson, for having me here.
Awesome. We're glad to have you. So how's the season going so far?
Season's going really good. Like they said, we had 9 place winners this weekend at the Jimmy Open, and we're really looking forward to making an impact in the NSIC, coming up and building up the program, and we're just getting ready for the next tournament day by day.
Awesome. Sounds like you guys are hard at work. What's the mindset right now for going into the beginning of the season right now?
The mindset is basically really just work on what we need to work on in the room, notice what we're doing in matches, and then going back looking at film, really touching up little things in the room and producing more wins and scoring more points and getting back on it.
Okay, you talk about like all the work that goes into it and stuff. How difficult is it in the training and stuff, getting ready to go into the season? How difficult is that, and how prepared are you guys coming into the season?
We're really prepared. Thankfully, with Coach Jackson and Howman's strength program and Coach Forty, we're really bouncing back, hitting it hard. We've really been, like I said, we've been hitting it hard, and really just pushing ourselves mentally and physically. Like once you get that mental breakdown and then you push yourself even further, then again, no one can stop you.
That's fantastic. And when you put in the work, you're going to achieve those goals that you set. What?
This season, we plan on getting at least 2 to 3 or 4. Yeah, we plan to getting on 4 more guys to the national tournament. We've had a guy for the past 2 years, and last year we had Jay Will, who's currently playing football right now, and Jared Sublett, who's a senior that graduated, make it to the national tournament. And this year, we're just trying to get more people there in All-American.
Yeah, you guys have had a lot of success, and a lot of that's got to be due to coaching. What kind of message does your coach tell you?
Our message that our coach tells us is basically really look out for our health, because injuries are being the one thing that can destroy a season. So really after hard practice, like ice bathing, really putting in the work, and don't be afraid to go to the trainer's room, because one thing is if your ankle's hurt, it could be something bad. If not, you don't want to wrestle on it. So that's really the big aspect, is like staying healthy and making sure we're not tired and pushing the pace.
All right, well, you guys are off to a good start. Thanks for your time, Stosh. The Beavers will go again next week on Saturday at the Bison Open at NDSU. Thanks again, Stosh Sitkowski. Back to you, Phil.
Well, pretty exciting times in the wrestling room. I'm very excited to see if they can send another 2 guys to nationals like they did last year.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Being teammates with Jay Will on the football field, it's awesome to see how successful this program can be, and I look forward to see what this program does this upcoming season.
Yeah, we'd like to thank Papa John's again for their continued support of Inside the Dam, and obviously it's a great deal they have going on, and we'd like to take a moment here and thank the rest of our underwriters.
Thank you to all of our underwriters.
All-American Trophies for all your screen printing and embroidery needs.
ArtMain, offering custom frames, art supplies, and jewelry.
Buffalo Wings and Rings, a sports restaurant experience located in South Minot.
Badlands Bar and Grill, located on 31st Avenue in Minot.
Trinity Health is a comprehensive healthcare system based in Minot, North Dakota.
Fiance, with all your prom and bridal needs, located in downtown Minot.
KCJB 910 AM, Minot's news and information station.
Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
KIZZ FM Z94, playing today's hit music.
Mix 99.9, Minot's Music Mix.
Happy Joe's Pizza and Ice Cream, serving the Midwest since 1972.
SRT, offering a number of services including phone, TV, internet, and security.
KRRZ, 1390 AM, Minot's Classic Hits.
KZPR 105.3 FM, Minot's Rock Station.
Jacobson Music, bringing music to the Northern Plains since 1980.
Qdoba, easy, on time, full of flavor.
Nice Impressions, no job is too big or too small, located in downtown Minot.
MSU Beavers Hockey, online info at msubeavers.com.
Forward Communication, connecting professionals in the Midwest.
MSU Theater Department, year-round entertainment.
Red and Green, MSU's student-run newspaper.
MSU Bookstore, for all your campus needs.
Minot Nutrition Addiction, offering healthy smoothies and meal replacements on the go.
Spicy Pie, pizza, grinders, beer.
Magic City Hoagies, locally owned sandwich shop located in Southwest Minot.
Taco John's, offering fresh tacos, burritos, nachos, and breakfast. Thrive-In Financial, connecting faith and finances.
El Azteca, authentic Mexican food on North Broadway near the airport.
PMQ Entertainment, performing at weddings, proms, and dances.
The Pursuit, creating a place in Minot where everyone is welcome.
Mouse River Players, community theater since 1971.
H-Bar B Construction, for all your oil field needs.
Bear's Cat Donuts, located on Broadway across from Minot State campus.
Welcome back. Alongside me here is a former WHL player in Brandon before getting drafted to the Calgary Flames, where he's played 261 games at the National Hockey League level. He's now the head coach of the Minotauros, Coach Marty Murray. Marty, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Thanks for coming along. Let's jump into it. 9th season as a Taros coach. How's the team look so far?
You know, there's a lot of turnover this year. We've have a lot of new bodies in the lineup, and we were able to graduate a lot of kids onto college, and so you know now it's a new task with a new group of guys, and you know the season's gone well so far. I think we're 8-3-3. We had a disappointing weekend last weekend against Bismarck. We were really strong this year. You know, we were served a little bit of humble pie, but at the same time, it's a growing process. It's a long season of 60+ games, and you know I'm confident we'll get to the level we need to.
So after a weekend like this, obviously it wasn't a strong weekend for you. How do you bounce back?
Well, I think we need to get back to you know what gives us success, and we're not the biggest group on the ice, but we have really good team speed, and I didn't think we moved our feet well enough this weekend to have success against a strong Bismarck team, and so that's one of the things we talked about. We watched a lot of video. We brought them in yesterday actually to watch the game again, and there's some areas we need to clean up, including keeping the puck out of our net. You know, it's hard to win when you're giving up 5 goals in each game, and you know you can't pin that entirely on the goalies. We need to do a better job away from the puck and keeping the puck out of our net.
So as the season goes along, you guys develop. What are your goals you guys are aiming for?
Well, I think every year we want to, there's kind of two separate goals. I think from an organization standpoint, we want to be a playoff contender every year, and we proved that, getting into the playoffs a couple of years ago, we made it to the final of the Roberts Cup there, and so we want to definitely be a playoff team. We've established ourselves, I think, as a top-notch organization in our league, and then besides that, moving players on. Last year we had 10 Division I commitments, and we have 6 currently on our team right now, and we feel like we can get to that number 10 again this year.
That's awesome. And let's take a step back towards personally you. What was the highlight of your career in the National Hockey level?
Hard to say. I mean, scoring a goal in the NHL, it's such an adrenaline rush, and you dream about it when you're 5, 6 years old, playing hockey in the kitchen, pretending you're going to score a goal. So I think once that first one goes off your stick and into the back of the net, it was a pretty neat feeling. But for me, I think I was able to call it a career for 15 years, and just the people you meet along the way, the relationship you build, and the people you meet. I think looking back on it now is probably a special part of being a hockey player.
And here's the last one for you. How has junior hockey changed from when you played, obviously, in the Western Hockey League up in Canada to now here in the North American League?
Well, I think for me, my eyes have been opened a little bit. When, I was going through the process 20 plus years ago, the only way to go was the Western Hockey League or the major junior route if you wanted to be a pro hockey player. And that's changed. I think it used to be Canada up here, and then the rest of the world, there's a separation. And now it's definitely closing, which is great for the game. But now, moving down to the U.S. side and seeing the opportunities that players have at the collegiate level is pretty neat. We have a former Toro player that is our first alum in the NHL this year, and so it's possible for our guys to see the ladder development and the end game where they can get to.
Awesome, thank you. That's all we have. If you want to see the Taros in action, you can go down to the Pepsi November 11th at 6:35. And now we're going to throw it over to Ewan with the voice of Beavers hockey.
Thank you, Troy.
Thank you.
Sorry about that, folks. Little technical difficulties. Like I was saying, the Minot State Beavers hockey scored 20 goals in 3 games against the University of Providence and Grand Canyon University. Joining me now is the voice of the Beavers, Blake Friars. Blake, how are we doing so far?
Good. How about you? Thanks for having me.
You were on the road last time you were on the show. How's life been like on the road?
Yeah, obviously the long bus rides are not too fun. Trouble sleeping a little bit, but it's good to get a good bond with the guys. And obviously we went to Chicago this past weekend. We played 2 games. We split. We beat Illinois 4-1 and had a tough loss against Davenport 4-3, but they rebounded this past weekend.
Well, also this weekend, it's Military Appreciation and Alumni Weekend this weekend. So what does that mean to Minot State University when it comes to Minot, since it's an Air Force town?
Yeah, it's obviously nice. You want to support the military and what they do for our country. And we got some custom jerseys for this weekend, camo jerseys. So it's going to be a big test. Obviously, Utah, they beat us at home ice last year, and we don't lose at home very often. So it's going to be a big test. UNLV's also coming in here. They're a top 10 team. So for the Beavers, it's going to be a good matchup, I think.
Well, this weekend you said we're going against Utah and that they're a tough team. You're also going up against UNLV. Also, you guys have a young defensive core. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, we graduated a lot of senior defensemen last year. This year we got 5 freshman defensemen, but we got a really good goaltending core. All 3 goaltenders returned, so they're mostly all steady back there. So it's a little bit less pressure on the defense, but there's gonna be some growing pains for sure. But I mean, they've looked pretty solid so far. We're 8-1-2 on the season so far, and hopefully they can continue to grow on that.
So just one more here. You guys said you're going up against a tough Utah team and UNLV. You guys are 8-1-2 overall. What will you guys need to do to keep this momentum going?
Yeah, I mean, the offense has been really dynamite, right? And, the power play is starting to click. Special teams has been really good. And if they get good goaltending, we shouldn't have a problem this week.
Well, thank you so much. That's voice of the Beavers, Blake Fryer. It's always an honor.
Thank you.
Thank you. Back to you, Troy.
It was great to hear from Blake again. Back here, obviously, second show in a row. Beavers hockey turning up, really good team, and it's exciting to see them play.
Yeah, Blake does a great job, voice of the Beavers. He really vocalizes how good this team can be and will be. We'd like to remind you to stay tuned next week, or in 2 weeks, and come and watch our next episode on November the 18th.
We'd also like to thank our sponsor again, Papa John's and the Bearscat Bakehouse. Don't forget to go to Papa John's, and when you order a large pizza, say you watch Inside the Dam, get a second large one for free. We'd like to throw it to our premium underwriters. Well, we're back here. Show has been going very well so far.
Yeah, we've had a lot of great people on the show today of all different kinds of sports, hockey, football. It's been great.
Three different venues, really.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, and we're going to go right into some regional sports here. We got our boy, Caden.
Yeah,
Hey now.
big Patriots fan. Tough loss last night.
You know what? 8-1. Can't be too disappointed.
A little Sunday night football for you, hey?
Yeah, Sunday night football. Always great Sunday night.
Yeah, it's a good way to end the weekend, sit
Under the
down on the
lights.
couch, watch a little football, huh? Nothing better.
Nothing better.
That's true.
How are you now, Beaver fans? I am the Caden Cardoso, and this is the greatest sports update you will ever see. Sunday Night Football brought us the undefeated Patriots traveling to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. Lamar Jackson would steal the show, rushing for 2 touchdowns, one of which would seal the game's fate late in the fourth quarter. As with all Patriots losses, I can assure you that all media outlets will be calling this 8-1 team finished and washed up, further fueling the fire that revs Tom Brady's engine. In other NFL news, the Minnesota Vikings dropped a nail-biter to the Mahomes-less Kansas City Chiefs. The game was decided on a last-second Harrison Butker field goal. The loss was at no fault of Kirk Cousins, who put up a respectable 220 yards passing, along with 3 touchdowns. However, the same cannot be said for the number 1 option, Stephon Diggs, who was as useless as ever, catching a staggering 1 pass for a grand total of 4 yards, but somehow will still make my fantasy lineup next week. A classic World Series has come to an end, and the Washington Nationals have come out on top for the first time in franchise history. However, key pieces may be lost to free agencies, such as the World Series MVP and possible league MVP, Anthony Rendon and Steven Strasburg. This offseason could prove essential for the future of the Nationals. The Minnesota Wild have gotten off to what most people would say is a slow start, with a less than ideal record of 4 wins and 10 losses through the first month of play. This batch of Ice Warriors are looking to turn it around in the month of November and maybe, just maybe, climb out of the basement of the Central Division. The NDSU Bison have moved to 9-0 this week as they dismantled the Youngstown Penguins with a score of 56-19. The Bisons got out to a quick 21-point first quarter lead and never looked back, sending the Penguins back to their cold, icy Arctic home with their flightless tails between their legs. The NBA season is now underway, and your Timberwolves are sitting pretty at a crisp 4-1. Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins are leading the way, averaging 20.3 and 19.3 points per game respectively. However, this team will need plenty of production from their role players to compete in a Western Conference Finals, such as with the teams such as the Clippers, the Rockets, and the Lakers. This has been the Caden Cardoso, and this was the greatest sports update you'll ever see.
That was awesome, Caden. You know, really some good insight on all the sports around the country right now, especially in this region. So what are your thoughts? Do you think Minnesota's got a chance in the Western Conference?
Absolutely not. I think that the Rockets and the Lakers are going to run the conference. But other than that, the NBA is the NBA. It's always going to be exciting when it comes to the playoffs.
You know, I want to go back to Diggs. You know, he got 0.4 points for me.
Yeah,
I'm going to start him next weekend. You know.
Yeah, number 1 option on my fantasy team. He's really been off and on, and I'm sitting at a crisp 3-5, and it's really not looking too good.
But you're going to start him anyways.
How's Tom Brady going to respond, first of all?
Tom Brady's going to respond great. There's never been a problem with that man, ever in his life.
Ever. Not one problem ever.
Never.
Deflategate?
Well, there that is. The show has been very fun.
It's been a great show. We've had some great sports people on the show, wrestling, hockey, football. It's been awesome to get a bunch of insight all around Minot and Minot athletics.
Yep, don't forget we got another show coming up in 2 weeks.
Yeah, don't tune in November 18th.
We also like to thank Papa John's again. Don't forget the deal. Buy one large pizza, you get a second one free when you say you watch Inside the Dam. Bears Cat Bakehouse, just across the street from the university also. Very good donuts. I recommend them.
They are great. I think I had 3 last Monday when we brought them in.
Philip likes his donuts. That's how we're going to close the show. We'd like to thank you for tuning in and see you in 2 weeks.